Okay, wonderful. Good afternoon. The Land Use and Zoning Subcommittee of the Economic Matters Committee will come to order. The time is 4:33 p.m. This meeting is being conducted via Zoom for members participating from their offices. Staff, please call the roll.
Yes, everyone is present and we are live as
Wonderful.
well.
Wonderful. Quorum is present. We'll proceed. And on today's agenda, we have HB 238, Maryland Heritage Area Authority and Heritage Areas Alteration, and HB 240, Local Comprehensive Plans Guidance Materials and Notification to the Department of Planning. And we have a pleasure of Maryland Department of Planning, who is here. Secretary Rebecca, welcome. Deputy Secretary Kristen Fleckenstein, welcome. She is MDP's. She is from Maryland Department of Planning as well. So the first bill, HB 238. The HB 238 updates and modernizes the governance and administrations of the Maryland Heritage Area Authority, MHAA, and the Maryland Heritage Areas Program, MHAP. The bill expands authority membership, adds the quorum requirement, streamline administrative process, and increases flexibility in how grants and loans are awarded to support heritage area planning, preservation, revitalization, and programming. So, then is there any discussion on the bill, or Secretary want to say something? Any member?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'll raise my hand and, oh.
Sure.
So sorry, I see other hands too, but so I see the bill, we're adding the Secretary of Agriculture and then the State Superintendent of Schools. Why are we adding the State Superintendent of Schools?
Yeah, Secretary.
Yes, Chair Bhandari.
Thank recognize the Secretary. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for having us here today. For the record, Secretary Flora with Maryland Department of Planning. I also wear another hat, which is the Chair of the Maryland Heritage Areas Authority. So happy to answer any questions. And I believe that was Delegate Pippy that had the question.
Yes.
Is that who it was? So Delegate, yes. Great question. Actually, the Secretary of Agriculture and the Superintendent of the State Department of Education have been acting as non-voting members since 2010 on the heritage area. And so as we went through our strategic planning process last year for the first time, actually since 2010, this was one of the things that was noted that should be, in fact, updated in our governance. And to your point specifically around the Department of Education, this is actually really important because a lot of the work that's done is around cultural and heritage education. And so the opportunity to actually work with the schools, in addition to adults, obviously, in some of the work of the heritage area, has been a longstanding partnership. And so we simply wanted to change what was a non-voting seat to an official voting seat on the authority, and that was following a recommendation that came out of our strategic planning process.
Great. And then my final question, Mr. Chair, is it looks like you're adding also an individual related to climate resiliency. Can you explain what you mean by that, or what is the interpretation of that?
Secretary.
Yes. Absolutely. And that was basically subject matter expertise. And we have it in basically experience in natural resource stewardship or climate resiliency to the voting membership. And this is actually a change that one of the things I discovered as I took over as secretary a couple of years in this position, and we were trying to clean up things, we identified the fact that the Maryland Greenways Commission, which had a seat on the authority, has actually been defunct for many years, and that had never been addressed. And so that seat on the authority is now, since the commission is defunct, is being replaced essentially by a member from the public with education or experience in actually either of the areas of natural resource stewardship or climate resiliency, which we felt were very important to the work of the heritage area, because we're also finding that many of our heritage sites are actually vulnerable. But either of those particular areas of expertise, we'd be looking forward to fill that seat that was once occupied by the now defunct Maryland Greenways Commission.
Okay, thank you for answering those questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, thank you. Next, Delegate Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to follow up, I still don't follow how the climate resiliency has anything to do with the heritage areas other than they might be vulnerable areas. Could you further explain your answer to that question?
Madam Secretary.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go into that a little bit more. We added that in there because certainly what we've seen, even right here in Annapolis, and in many areas, is that a lot of our heritage sites are in fact being subject to, and you can take out the word climate if that would make you feel more comfortable. But the whole issue of resiliency in terms of, particularly though, as it relates to whether it be sea level rise or flooding, is just one particular area of resiliency. I used to do a lot of work in this area. It could be, the flooding we even saw in Western Maryland, or we've seen it with forest fires. You have an aspect of resiliency that's related to naturally caused threats. There's also some caused by human, which could be just development and growth. In some cases, could have impacts on our really precious areas of cultural and heritage areas and historic areas. And so we felt that by simply identifying those particular categories of natural resource stewardship or climate resiliency would help cover that particular area of expertise that we were looking for on the heritage area. I hope that explains it a little bit more of why I know personally I feel this whole notion of resiliency, whether it be naturally or human caused, is something that we have to pay attention to in our heritage areas.
Okay, and then my other question, we had a bill in last year, House Bill 1327, which increased the amount, it gave the governor authority to provide additional funding for the heritage areas, passed both the House and Senate, and then the governor vetoed it. I know that legislation is coming back this year, but does that make sense to consolidate that bill with this bill, or do you feel they're two separate, totally two?
I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
Secretary.
I believe we would respectfully ask that the bills stay separate. And the reason for that is that this bill, which is the departmental bill, specifically focuses on updates that came out of the recommendations of our strategic planning process, which are around governance and modernization and things that we need to do to update the code specifically. I would say anything related to a fiscal, particularly budget component, and in that case, the other bill relates to program open space, which is the source of the funds for this, that be kept separate, because that will have a whole variety of opinions related to that aspect specifically, and we would really like to stay focused on the strategic plan outcomes, which it was quite an extensive process with the strategic plan. So this bill is focused on that specifically.
All right. So are you all just going to be neutral on that bill this year, or are you taking?
We will be. We'll stay neutral on that.
Neutral. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Delegate Adams.
So just very quick, and you brought up strategic plan. I'm reading the fiscal note. Is the reason why you're adding these two additional members is because you're trying to increase access to funding? So in other words, you're bringing in the superintendent of schools. Are you thinking this helps in that respect? And I also see Department of Agriculture. So I'm just asking for insight as to why the additions might go beyond just the technical expertise that you're looking for.
Yeah, I think I would not say it's related to budget at all. It's related to basically expertise and perspective, and that these two particular seats have been serving as non-voting members since 2010. And we just felt that it's really more about partnerships, that we really felt that it made sense at this stage to just make them a full voting member as part of our commitment to the partnerships that we have across all of the members of the authority.
Yeah, thank you for that clarity. So the strategic plan had two parts. One, the membership, and then two was increasing access to funds. So I was just trying to see if there was a nexus between that membership change and funding that you're looking for.
No.
All right, thank
you.
Thank you. Next, Delegate Pruski.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I was actually looking forward to moving the bill. I know that the questions that I had were answered in the committee, so that's what I wanted to do.
Let's go to Delegate PP first, then we'll entertain a motion.
Thank you.
If
So
he moves the bill- sorry,
hearing
just
that we,
technically, if you have a, sorry, if he moves the bill and there's a second, then you can still have a discussion, but the bill is moved. So you, just from a process perspective, was there a second?
Second, Madam Vice Chair and Mr. Chair.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah,
You can still take a question now.
definitely, yeah. So we're in discussion phase now that there's been a motion and a second. Okay, so I would move to amend the bill to strike or climate. Let me find the language. I'm gonna go find the language here. Okay, so on page 2, line 22 and 23, it looks like there's a redundancy somewhat. The administration testified that she wouldn't be opposed to removing that word, but I would move to strike the words or climate resiliency, because if we still left in significant education or experience in natural resource stewardship, I think that's more in line with the spirit of the bill. I think it doesn't change what the goals are, which is to preserve, these items in our state. But I don't want to like muddy the waters with climate resiliency, because that could mean a whole bunch of different things. So my motion, I know we are in a motion in a second, so my request would be to move it back pre-motion before that motion to amend the bill to strike those three words, or climate resiliency. And I think you might get more favorables on the bill that way.
Secretary, since this is
I don't think,
bill, you want to comment on that?
Mr. Chair. Sorry, Mr. Chair, did you want to, are you going to consider that? I think that the committee may discuss it.
Yeah, we can do that as well. If Secretary has any comments on that.
I think that I would just say, if I could just say first, that I think that I would oppose that change.
Anybody second that?
I would second that.
Okay. So since the bill has been moved and seconded, is there further discussion on the bill?
Wait a minute. I'm
question.
seconding, stop. I'm seconding Delegate Pippi's motion to amend the bill.
Okay.
Sorry, you're seconding the motion to remove the.
Yeah, there was no purpose in like doing what we just did there. I mean, we're having subcommittee, we're having discussion. I mean, I think we were being quick enough with the bill to get what we needed out of it, and Delegate Pippi made a motion. So let's remove the motion,
Sorry.
put in the
Since
motion, and move on.
Since the motion is the bill moved and seconded, I think I should first count the vote.
Right, hold on, point of order. So the question that I'm asking is if Delegate Pruski, I think it was a Pruski, would be willing for 60 seconds to withdraw his motion to approve the bill as is and allow us to do a vote on striking those three words. And look, if we lose, then you can do the same thing 60 seconds later. But I would ask for that courtesy. We're trying to make the bill maybe unanimously supported. But It's up to Delegate Pruski because he's the one who made the motion. So my request would be for Delegate Pruski to withdraw his motion to approve the bill, let us to vote on the 3 words, and then you guys can get to where you got to go after that in 60 seconds.
Delegate Pruski, Chair recognizes Delegate Pruski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For 50 seconds, yes, I will allow to withdraw my motion and now Delegate Buafo so we can at least vote on the gentleman's amendment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Chair, I make a motion to, on page 2, line 23, to strike "or climate resiliency."
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say yes. In opposition, just raise your hand or no.
Aye.
Aye.
The motion carried.
No, it doesn't.
Mr. Chair, I
You
think
have to see who's opposed to it.
Oh,
So you have
okay.
to be all opposed.
All opposed.
Aye.
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 You have 5 opposed and 3 in favor, so the motion
The
doesn't
motion failed.
carry.
Okay. All right.
So now someone can move the bill.
The chair
Move the bill.
entertained a motion.
Move the bill, Delegate Pruski.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? No discussion, so the bill has been moved and seconded. So I'm going to, we'll count the vote. Anybody in favor of the bill, please raise your hand first. Opposed?
Opposed.
2,
I think it's 3.
3.
Unless Charkoudian wants to be 2 votes.
Yeah, the bill passed.
Okay.
Okay, the second one, the next bill is HB 240, local comprehensive plans, guidance materials and notification to the Department of Planning. The bill intent is to strengthen coordination between local planning commissions and the Maryland Department of Planning, MDP, during comprehensive plan reviews. The bill requires local planning commissions to notify MDP at the start of a comprehensive plan review and requires MDP to provide guidance materials on the state law, best practices, and planning resources to support the review, revision, and amendments process. So is there any discussion on the bill?
Yes.
Yes, Delegate Adams.
Just briefly, what are we trying to solve in this bill? I try to reach out to one of the local counties on this, and I'm unsure what we're trying to solve here.
Secretary, the chair recognizes Secretary.
Yes, thank you, Delegate. I think this was really, it came from the planners across the state in that we did a series of roundtables, which we do annually, to actually meet with and discuss with planners ways to improve the systems. And this was actually a much agreed upon consensus around it would be a lot more beneficial, not only to the localities, to be in touch with us at the beginning of their process and for us to then give this guidance at the beginning, rather than the current statute, which requires it within at the end of the process, essentially when it's almost too late. And so it's sort of just a common sense thing, really. But the way the statute is currently written, it says that it must be 60 days before the plan's public hearing. We've actually had issues with that because the plan's done. It's going for public hearing. It would not be the time for us to be, essentially putting comments forward. So we think it actually just improves the system overall, and planners have agreed.
All right, thanks.
Any further discussion? Seeing no discussion, the chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Is there any
I
second?
have a question. Who is all on the subcommittee for, just a point of clarification?
Oh, so who are on the
Is
subcommittee?
this, are we in the land use and zoning subcommittee?
Correct. That's correct.
So who is on that? So that's
Adams.
Bandari, Adams, Boafo, me, Pruski, Weibel, Chi.
And vice chair.
I sit on all the subcommittees.
You're on all the subcommittees.
Yep.
Huh. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. The bill has been moved and seconded. So is there any discussion? So seeing no further discussion, the question before the subcommittee is the motion just to vote on the bill. So anybody, like, who will be voting on the bill? Could you raise your hand? Let me count. Yep. Seems unanimous. The bill.
You can put me down as opposed to the bill.
Okay. All those opposed, please raise your hand. If any member wishes to abstain, please state abstain if you don't want to vote. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Delegate Waffle, do you have a question? Okay. The bill is reported favorable.
Mr. Chair, before we move on, just one recommendation. I think and defer to the subcommittee and staff here, but it may be a lot easier for the record if we do a roll call on motions and on voting of the bill, just from a procedure standpoint, just so we don't get caught up in last minute votes there.
That's perfect. Thank you. We'll do that. That's a great suggestions.
Can I make one?
Adams.
Can I recommend we do some of these in person? I see no reason. I mean, we've done this for 12 years now, and I'm reluctant to get in the middle of a hang up over the subject. If it's not possible, it's not possible. But for 12 years, our Economic Matters Committee has been fairly collegial on subcommittee subjects. We get into subject matter, we talk about things, and we work it out. It's harder for me to see that being constructive in the Zoom format that we're using, especially with some bills coming forward that surely are going to take more engagement than just a move in a second and talk about it for 5 minutes. Because that to me doesn't feel like subcommittee. That feels like, okay, move a bill, we're in committee, and move on. I would think a bill goes to subcommittee for engagement, discussion, amendments, and et cetera. And that's my 2 cents on that. It doesn't need an answer. I'm just making a suggestion.
Any other questions, comment, suggestion? Thank you, Delegate Adams. We'll get back to you on that. If there is no further business before the subcommittee, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, members. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Have a blessed evening.